The first 6 dimensions explained simply. There are 10 dimensions, but I'll go over the first 6. So the first dimension is essentially a line. It's length, just one line. That's about it. Second dimension is length and width. So instead of just a line, it becomes like a square, right? You can move up, sideways, right? Third dimension is now depth. So it goes towards you. It's 3D, right? Like you're looking at something and it looks like it's coming towards you. That's the depth. Or height, if you're just going this way and this way, up. So now you have 3 different ways you can move, right? Those are all the spatial ways that dimensions work. Now, as we move up to the next dimension, it needs to be recognized that they kind of mirror every 3 dimensions. What I mean by this is by the 4th dimension, it is time. So if we were to essentially create a map of everywhere you've moved throughout your whole life and just have them side by side, you'll have a bunch of lines of you everywhere of where you moved throughout your life. And that is essentially the line of the 1st dimension. So it's just one giant line. It's like a snake of you, of everywhere you moved throughout your whole life. And you can move anywhere you want it to, back and forth, but it's going to be in the same line of where you moved throughout your whole life. You can't go anywhere outside that line because that's the 4th dimension. It's time. It's where you moved. Now as we get into the 5th dimension, now you can actually move to different kinds of lines of possibilities of chance. So the 5th dimension gets a little harder to recognize or to theorize, is essentially whenever there's some form of chance of something happening, you branch off into another reality. So if you guys have seen Community, remember how Jeff was going to roll a dice to see who answers the door to get the pizza, and it creates different timelines? That's essentially what the 5th dimension is. It's whatever can happen based on chance and choice. So let's say you were going to you had choices to go to 2 different colleges, right? So now there's a reality where you went to this college or where you went to that college, but there's also the reality of where you didn't go to college. Now, instead of just moving within the snake, you can move into the different possibilities that there were out there for you. What if you married this person? What if you went to this college? What if you got this job? What if you pursued this as your career? These are all different possibilities that could have happened in your life, and now those are all different branches or snakes that you can look into. You don't just move into the life that you lived. You moved into the lives that you could have lived to see what that looked like, right? That's the 5th dimension, because it gave you another dimension now to move around. Now the 6th dimension allows you to move into all possible realities within our known universe. Same starting conditions. So if the universe started with the Big Bang, right? That's the same starting condition. We still have the same laws of physics. Those are the same dimension. This is all within the 6th dimension, because this means it's from the same starting condition. We still have laws of physics that apply, but now you can see all the different possibilities that could happen. What if squids were the species that evolved into humanoid form? You could go into that reality now and see what that looks like. And they'll just look at you like some weird ape because you're the only human there that evolved into that intelligent level. So that gives you another dimension to move into, where you can see other possibilities that could have happened within the same starting condition with the same laws of physics. If you go into the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, you can kind of guess or deduce what happens from there. Different starting conditions, different laws of physics. So if you want, I could go into those into more detail, but it goes up to 10. And 10 is the craziest one, which is just very hard to fathom, but there's an explanation. And all this is based off physics and superstring theory, in case anyone is curious. So those are the first 6 dimensions. The 1st and the 4th parallel each other because it's like a line. The 2nd and the 5th are more of a plane. You can move multiple ways. And the 3rd and the 6th are when you start getting jumping. You get some depth, right? You can jump around a little bit more than we could with the first 2. So first 6 dimensions, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'd be happy to explain. I'm by no means a physicist. I'm just an analyst, and I like to analyze different things. I've done a lot of research on this because it's always been something that I've been curious about. So let me know in the comments if you want to know about more of the dimensions. But yeah, first 6, there it is.